Can you see change coming in our parliamentary system? I don't necessarily mean changing the system. I mean new class of MPs, reform, doing better, parties changing by themselves because they see if they don't, they're going to die. Can you see any of that on the horizon?
Only if Reform UK can keep doing what they're doing. I think they're the only hope we've got for some sort of change in this country. Whether you agree with them or not, the majority of this country are sick of the two cheeks of the same backside in Labour and the Tory party, and they want some sort of change. So Reform UK is the only hope for that. If they can get a decent amount of MPs in there to actually start making a difference and start contributing more, getting onto committees, etc., then yes, I think there can be some real change. It's going to be difficult, but I would say the Conservatives and the Labour Party are doing their absolute best to make sure that Reform UK can actually take up that position on the right of politics because this country needs it. Every party we've got now are just social democrats. It doesn't matter who they are; they're all on the centre left of politics. Although Tories won't admit it, but they are on the centre left of politics. If Farage can continue doing what he's doing, they've also got that new chairman now, Zia Youssef, who speaks extremely well when I've seen him on telly and interviews. He speaks really well. So they've got money behind them as well. Yeah, they can. As long as they don't make any stupid gaffes and don't say anything too stupid, but at the same time, remaining relevant and taking up the old conservative position, then yeah, I think they can make a difference. I don't think it'll change the voting system unless they were to win a majority, which is going to be a big ask. That I don't think they can win a majority. Certainly not at the next election anyway, because you'd have to go from 5 MPs to a minimum of 326, wouldn't you? And that's one hell of a jump. I don't think they can do that. But the Tories are worried. In a polling done just, I think it was last week, 53% of Tory members want Reform to merge with Reform UK. And Jacob Rees-Mogg actually came out and said that the Tories should stand aside in those 98 seats where Reform UK came second to Labour and let Reform take those seats. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think for a second the Tory party will stand aside. But
I think there's a good chance they will.
yeah,
If the longer the election goes on, as in if it let's say it is 4 or 5 years from now, and the Tories are looking that we're not going to win many more seats than we've got now, it means another 5 years of Labour, even though the people don't want Labour. But if we do a deal with Reform and we allow them to win 90 odd seats, and then in coalition with them, we become the government, and it'll be a Tory Prime Minister with Farage as Deputy Prime Minister. That shiny, greasy pole for those politicians who are thinking this is my one chance of being Prime Minister or getting into power, I can see a deal being done with the Tories' long-term goal of absorbing Reform UK into the party if they become proper Tories again.
do you not think that would be the death knell for Reform UK, though? That would be the end, wouldn't it? Because people would look at them and say, well, you sold out in 2019, Farage, because you stood aside for Boris Johnson and you stood all your candidates down. And now you're standing aside again for the Tories, or you're going to merge with the Tories effectively. So you've let us down again. I think that would be the end for Farage. I think it'd be the end for Reform UK.
I think the end of Reform UK will be a better Tory party. So I don't think he'd stand people then step them all down again. But I think he'd be open and honest going, these are 90 odd seats we're going to concentrate on. And we're going to do a deal with the Tories if we can. And because that means then we've got 90 people sat in Parliament and then we can start changing this country. He just needs to be open and honest. It's about getting more seats in Parliament. That's the name of the game. But we're many years away from that yet. But I can see that being part of the long-term game. Again, because we've all got egos. So if Farage is thinking Reform might eventually become the first party, but it might take decades and I won't be here. Or I could become Deputy Prime Minister next year. Well, all politicians are open to that sort of that benefit, that temptation. We all are.
Yeah, maybe I'm being naive. I wonder if Farage has got a bit more about him than that. not to do a deal with them. Firstly, through his own ego. I don't think he wants to go down as somebody who simply sold out after being, probably the most influential politician in this country for the last 20 years without actually being inside Parliament. Secondly, I think he'd rather try with Reform UK. Again, maybe that's me being naive, to try and get Reform UK to at least be the second party after the next election, but get it chipping away at Labour and then maybe try again for the third time. Let's not forget, this is a guy who's turned down peerages. From the Tory party, they've tried to give him a peerage 2 or 3 times now to make him go away, stop causing trouble and everything. And he's always turned it down. So again, maybe it's me being naive, but I think there's a chance that he might just say no to them and say, no, I'm going to take you down with me. I think he's furious at the Tory party for
I'm sure he is.
What they've become, because he was a Thatcherite, wasn't he? He tried to get into Parliament for a long time. Is it 7 or 8 times before he managed it? And he was a Tory member. And the way they've, like I said before, become Social Democrats, I think he's so furious. I think he'd rather see Labour in power, at least for now, and watch the Tory party crash and burn than anything else.
I think we'll have a better idea what's going on in May next year at the local elections. We'll find out then, has the appetite for Reform UK plateaued? Has the hatred for the Tories been forgiven? Has the hatred been moved over to Labour now? The local elections in May, early May next year, will be very interested to see exactly where we stand. Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers, I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.